Hello and welcome to Insert Game. A few months ago I took a trip to Japan and I finally got the footage together and I want to share it with you. This is not all strictly game related. There is a few other things in here I did that I think is cool and I want to share them with you, so I hope you don't mind that. But there is some game hunting and I will show you what I got at the end of the video. So here we are, just touching down. And we head off to an aquarium, where I see a fish with a human face. And I can't help but think of Seaman, and thinking, is that the inspiration right there? There's also a bunch of stingrays in this tank as well. I think they're kind of cool. Yeah, so that was fun. Then it was off to check out the penguins. They just glide through the water so easy. I think they're really cool. My wife likes these guys, so we had to see those. Pretty sure that was one of the reasons why we came here. And their tank was really cool as well. You can see the city through the back glass. That was pretty cool. But there's only so much fish you can handle before you have to go game hunting. So here I am going off to book off. I see the display case full of DS's, and there's a Famicom Mini. That was all the rage with the kids a while ago. Some PS Vitas. A lot of PlayStation 4. Here we see some PS Vita games. And right next to that was a bunch of PlayStation 4 games. I only had my PlayStation 4 for a little while at this point. I really wasn't looking for any of those games at the moment, but maybe my next trip I'll pick up some. Did have my eye out in a few PlayStation 3 games. And at the end of that was just some random bins with a bunch of DS games and Game Boy Advance, PSP. So I had to go through that and check them out. I believe I found a few. And they came home with me. And right across from that was some Famicom games, Super Famicom games. Some PlayStation 1. There's quite a few there. And then we're heading from one place to another. And I see this guy just chilling out in front of the Tokyo Tower, putting on a show for everybody. So of course I had to stop and check it out. This little fella's pretty well trained. That was a pretty cool trick. That's pretty awesome. Look how shaky that platform is. And he's just doing it one hand, no problem at all. What a cool little guy. And here's a view from the Tokyo Tower. You get an idea of how high up we are. I like playing with the zoom of my camera. It's a pretty good zoom, so I just play with it randomly for my own enjoyment. And here's a view of the city. Pretty awesome. Here we are, grabbing a train. Seems like when you're in Japan, you're always either on a plane, a train, or some kind of automobile. Thank God I like trains. standing in line. Gonna board a few buses here. My wife is taking me and my little one off to see a fireworks display. It explains why there was such a crowd. And here it is. Please enjoy. Wasn't that amazing? Right? That was pretty awesome. I hope you enjoyed that. So here we are looking at some more games. Quite a few in this little place here. One thing I'll say about the game stores in Japan, they may be small, but they know how to pack a lot of stuff into them. So one thing I would say, if you are going to look for some games while you're in Japan, give yourself plenty of time. There's so much to look through, even though it looks like a small space. But when you get bored of game hunting, what do? Well, you go to Sega World, and you play arcades. Well, that's what I did anyway. I love the arcades. And there's quite a few of them in Japan. So it's always worth it to stop in and drop a few yen. Yeah, I enjoy the arcades a lot. Just the sounds and the lights and everything, and just having a bunch of different people all there doing the same thing you're doing, just chilling out, playing some games. It's really awesome. Here I am looking at some PlayStation 2 games. Japan seems to be having a lot of PlayStation 2 games kicking around. I see lots of them at many of the stores when I was there, and they're all pretty decent price. I'd say if you're collecting for them, this would be a good time to maybe build up your library. Just checking out some more games here. I believe I actually picked up some Game Boy Advance games at this place. That's some GameCube controllers there and some PS2 controllers. I really like that Orange Spice one, but I already have one, so. Yeah, that was cool to see. And of course, we had to stop in here and do sushi go round. That was pretty amazing. I've only ever really seen this in video games before, and here I am sitting there looking at it in real life. That was pretty cool. And the food was pretty good too. And I seem to have found my way back to another arcade. Pretty strange, right? I don't know why I'd be drawn to an arcade. Probably the sounds and lights again, and awesome games. I'm just taking a look around here, showing you what they all have at the time. Pretty cool. Some of these places have, you know, 4 or 5 floors of games, and they're kind of organized in like those UFO catchers are kind of at the bottom. The next setup is kind of like the gambling machines, and then from there on you have maybe a couple of ones that are dedicated just to, you know, the arcade machines themselves. It's quite the experience to go through. Here I am going into another book off. I see this Neo Geo just chilling out on the shelf in box, which is great to see. I obviously want to take it home with me, but it was quite expensive, so I had to leave this little treasure for someone else to find. Yeah, I'm just checking out some games here. I enjoy the box art in a lot of these. It's quite different than what we got here in North America, so it's, you know, it's nice to see and just to kind of look at. Checking out some PSP games here. There's a lot of PSP games kicking around. It was nice. I believe I grabbed a few from my PSP. Here we are at the airport, and happen to see this guy just having a snack. Thought this was pretty cool. Here we are at the platform, just waiting for a train to come along. It's one of the reasons why I like Japan. There's trains everywhere. And I'm just looking at some random games and some random bins. I think these ones are just kind of sitting outside the storefront. But it's hard to look through a bin when it's so full like this. It took a little bit of time. I believe I found a few games in this bin as well. I love Atari. I was so happy to see Atari games there. And the cassette vision. I've been looking at that for a while now too. That had some really nice graphics for the time. I wouldn't mind picking one of those up. And of course, the Wonder Swan, which I love and been picking up a lot of games for. It's a nice little system. I love the sound from it. And some Sega games there as well. That's awesome. And up here we see some Neo Geo. They're pretty expensive, but you can still find a deal here and there on those. And outside this store, I see Rob the Robot sitting by an FC Twin, so quickly had to get down into here, because you know if Rob's hanging out at the store, it's got to be good. And he was correct. Like, look at all this stuff. I mean, the store is not huge, but there is a lot here. So this place took me a little bit of time to go through because there was a lot to look at. That glass cabinet had some cool stuff in it as well. Like that Game Gear, that's pretty awesome. Nintendo 64 DD. Super Graphic FX. Well, I guess I should show you what I got from Japan. So you can see, got a little pile of stuff here. I didn't get the cat in Japan. I was always here. Nice little pile of stuff here. And got a couple of Vita games, some Game Boy Advance games. Picked this up for a friend as I don't have a Virtual Boy, but he does, so I'm sure he'll enjoy that. Circle Pad Pro, some Super Famicom games. Got myself a PlayStation gun. Some more PSP games, Wonder Swan games, some DS games. Got myself a 3DO controller, a whole bunch of Game Boy games, Advance games, and Wonder Swan games here. Picked up some PC Engine games along with the Disk System game. This here I'm super happy to have, as I do not have a Mark III game, so this will do. This is my very first one that I can use in my Mark III, other than the Sega My Cards. Got myself PlayStation game there, a couple of those, PSP games here. Got myself a few Sega Saturn games, which I'm very happy about. Some PlayStation 2 games. I'm going to become a drum master, so, you know, that's going to be awesome. Now, a friend of mine in Japan, he bought me these magazines, which are pretty awesome. I can't wait to listen to the CD. It's going to be great. And he also got me this, which I'll do a review on. And he got me the adapters for it too, so I can play a whole bunch of Sega and some Nintendo and Famicom on it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. He even got me the cleaner for the games. I mean, thought of everything. Now, it's pretty awesome. How lucky am I? So anyway, that's my haul from Japan. I'm sure you'll see this eventually in one way or another. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. Hey! Hey! What are you doing? Are you loving the games right now? Huh? Are you a retro freak? Are you a retro freak? Where are you going? You know you're not in frame. Well, that's not flattering.